The Pet Shame Clinic has been helping the nation's embarrassed animal owners. 4 weeks later, it's time to see how they've done. 1 month ago, Pongy pug dog Columbo was showing up owner Amy with his frequent flatulence.
Oh, God, has he made a smell?
It's not you, is it?
Oh, Columbo!
Mark wanted to give Columbo a new high-protein diet and feed him smaller portions more frequently. Oh, it's brilliant to have Columbo back, and I see we've got the same stylist today. But has Columbo's change of diet managed to get rid of his gas?
It's not as pongy. He still does do them, maybe once a week.
Has he lost a little bit of weight? He looks a little bit trimmer.
Yeah, I think the food is a lot better for him with maybe less fat.
Changing Columbo's diet is the key to controlling his stinky emissions. But now, Mark wants to take it a step further and tackle Amy on treats.
How many of these, roughly, would you give, for example, a dog of this size, a day?
More than that.
More than this? Okay.
I give my dog loads. I gave her 3 prawn crackers the other day.
This is the equivalent of feeding this much sugar a year.
5 daily dog treats like these is, over a year, the same as 18 kilos of sugar. In the long term, too many treats can lead to heart failure, diabetes, and even depression.
You're killing with kindness. Treats are good, but there are other healthier alternatives that we must consider. OK, so you've got yoghurt, natural yoghurt.
Yoghurt is full of good bacteria, excellent for lining the gut and helping digestion. Blueberries, I never would have thought about giving those to my dog.
They're good for treats, they're full of antioxidants, again, they're full of good vitamins. And again, it's an alternative to these sugar-filled treats that we sort of pile into our dogs.
What else have you got here?
The golden treat for me to give dogs is carrots.
Carrots are low in fat, high in vitamins and full of fibre. What about bones?
You should always supervise a dog that's eating a bone.
The best bone for a dog is one that's bigger than its mouth. Never give your pooch a chicken bone or a bone that's been cooked, as it may splinter when they chew.
And they're excellent for their teeth and their general well-being.
So, armed with even more diet know-how, Columbo and Amy are facing an even fresher, flatulent-free future together. For years, Toby the drooling horse has been gushing green slime. Because of his condition, he's been abandoned and looked after by Kaylee at a rescue centre. Mark initially diagnosed clover slobbers and suggested moving him to a different field.
Have you moved Toby from pasture to
Yes.
pasture to see if that makes a difference?
Yeah, we've taken him off the field that has the most clover in it and put him in a field with slightly less clover.
And no difference?
No difference.
Mark sent samples of the clover to a specialist lab, but they concluded that none of the fungus that causes clover slobbers was present in Toby's fields. So why have the tests come back as showing that there's no fungus on the clover?
What they do is they take random samples from around the field, they analyse them, they examine them, but it could be a false negative because it's impossible, obviously, to examine a whole field and every plant in it. So there could be little patches where the fungus could be.
As well as testing the clover, Mark also wanted to rule out any serious health problems by sending an equine vet in for a thorough investigation.
You've got some ulcers here, see how yellow they are?
Some minor stomach ulcers were discovered. Toby has been prescribed medication for the ulcers, but this has made the drooling worse. So do you think that the ulcers could be causing the drooling?
Possibly, it's definitely an option. I think that Toby is a very, very sensitive horse, though, because if he's actually drooling to the treatment, it means he's really reacting to pretty much everything that's coming in his path.
So what else do you think it could be then?
There's only kind of a few things it could be. Do you make your own hay?
We do cut quite a lot of hay off our own land. Once that's gone, we do get contractors in and have other hay delivered to us.
OK, because what happens in other hay, if you like, that isn't from your pastures, is it can contain not only things that can chemically irritate a horse's mouth, like buttercups, or even the fungus being brought in, but mechanical irritants, and that's like burdock or foxtail grasses, and they have tiny hooks or tiny hairs on the stems that can actually cause irritation as well.
Is there any more we can do?
Sometimes with allergies, as with humans, it's impossible to pinpoint the exact cause.
But what does this mean for the future? After 6 years of being at the rescue centre, will Toby ever find a new family?
He should actually be easier to rehome because you've got with you now medical records, x-rays, endoscopy reports that say, actually, this is a pretty healthy horse, apart from a few ulcers, which a lot of horses have anyway. So, in many ways, he's got a clean bill of health to move forward.
Well, good luck with Toby. I mean, I really do hope he finds a good home because he's such a beautiful horse.
Yeah, thank you ever so much for helping us and trying to figure out what was wrong with him.
My pleasure.
Thank
Take
you.
care and good luck.
Thank you.
Clouseau, the weeing house cat, was urinating daily all over owner Yvonne's flawless home. Mark felt that Clouseau's weeing would be lessened by allowing him outside. So Clouseau is an indoor cat, isn't he? So how often in the last few weeks have you allowed him to go outside?
At weekends when we're around for a few hours at a time, because otherwise he gets bored and does a bit of a Houdini, escapes from the garden.
1 month on, Yvonne is still nervous about letting Clouseau off the leash, but Mark has something up his sleeve that might sway her. So how can Yvonne give herself peace of mind if Clouseau does escape from the garden?
Yvonne needs to get Clouseau microchipped. For me and most vets, microchipping is essential for every pet, even when they're indoor pets, because, you know, it only takes one fireworks night to make a cat or a dog freak out and just leg it.
Microchipping involves implanting a small electronic capsule into your pet.
Have you seen a chip before, or do you know what sort of goes into microchipping an animal?
No.
OK, well, it's your lucky day. We have a scanner, OK, and we have the microchip, which is inside here, and the implanter. The chip itself looks like a grain of rice, but made of glass. It contains a little electrode, which has a unique code on it.
This code is stored on a central database with over 4 million other pets.
And then we lift up a flap of skin, and then we just plunge and take out.
The chip holds your pet's details and your personal information.
And there we go.
For around £20, it's money well spent to know your pet will be safe. But despite not allowing Clouseau to roam outdoors, Yvonne has noticed some big changes. So in terms of frequency, there's been a massive improvement, hasn't there?
There has, yeah.
I mean, how many times now is he peeing in the house compared to what it was like before?
Once a week.
And how many times was it before?
Probably once a day.
That's amazing!
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Clouseau was competing with his sister for indoor space. But after giving him his own territory, things are on the up. Were you surprised when that change happened?
I was very surprised, yeah. I haven't done a pee patrol recently. I might get caught out, you know, there might be one lurking somewhere, but overall, yes, it's been a very significant improvement.
With his own space, Clouseau is one happy cat. But in future, let's hope he gets to enjoy the great outdoors too. 1 month ago, Whisper the polecat ferret hybrid was a killer.
He shot over my head and caught my hen and tore her throat straight out.
Best friends Maria and Kelly had to keep him isolated from all the other ferrets in their brood. But has anything changed? I can't believe that we have a ferret playground here. Is he in there?
Yes.
This is amazing. He couldn't be with any of the other ferrets before.
No.
Not only does Whisper's calmer nature mean he can enjoy life with other ferrets, Kelly and Maria are proud to show him off.
But it's worked so much so we went to a show.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
We actually took him, yeah, we did, we took him to a show, and although he didn't get a first, he got a second.
Fantastic.
He came away with second prize.
He got a second, and he was held by someone who didn't know him, who looked at his teeth, spread out his feet to have a look at his nails to see if they've been cut properly and everything else, and just general health and well-being of the animal itself.
Mark's winning advice was to change Whisper's diet and make sure his food was constantly topped up.
I mean, it sounds strange for me, a vet, saying, you know, go and overfeed your pet. But ferrets are one of the few pets you can actually say overfeed, because the food is so high in protein and low in carbohydrate and have such an incredibly fast metabolism that it just gets burnt off immediately, pretty much. And you can see how active they are. I mean, you know that. So you can overfeed, and what overfeeding does is it stops them getting hungry, obviously, which stops them feeling the need to escape or look for other prey or attack anyone or anything else.
So Whisper is obviously socialising now. Did you think that this would ever happen?
No. I mean, this is what we would have wanted right from the word go. We've got it now and we are absolutely delighted. And as you can see, we're all sort of charming and getting on with one another.
OK, this is pretty incredible. Would I be right in thinking that that's actually Whisper grooming the others?
You would indeed.
That's amazing. How does that make you feel, just watching that?
It's a lovely warm feeling, and I'm going to end up with tears gushing in a minute.
But that's a huge progression.
Pardon me for doing an Irish jig.
Well, who would have thought Whisper the feral ferret could be curved? Here's to him getting first prize in the next competition. In 4 weeks, the Pet Shame Clinic has armed animal owners with the tools to turn their pesky problems into sensible solutions. Treatment is case-specific, so if you have an embarrassing animal, always seek advice from your vet. Next time on My Pet Shame, a Staffy Terrier that can't stop licking.
The more excited she is, the faster the tail wags and the faster the tongue licks.
A parrot with terrible table manners.
When I feed him in the mornings, he throws all his food out onto the floor.
And an aggressive alpaca.